As a group, we believe that permanent Olympic locations are a feasible option for the IOC. Specifically, the political, economic, and social benefits produce the feasibility of permanent Olympic game locations moving forward. From a political view, having a permanent venue would provide less backlash and problems that cause political outrage. Stability plays a huge role with planning and execution because there wouldn't be too many distractions from the residents that live in the permanent location. This quote gives a great representation of what the impacts of politics are on the Olympics. Sport and politics have long been linked, but the Olympic Games represent the most political sports event of all. The process of selecting the permanent location could become a geopolitical challenge. Countries may fight for the privilege, potentially leading to diplomatic tensions or also disputes. The process could be influenced by global power dynamics, alliances, and geopolitical considerations, impacting the perception of fairness and equity in hosting the games. Hosting the Olympics is a significant diplomatic opportunity. With a permanent location, diplomatic relations between the host country and other nations may become more consistent and also predictable. The games could serve as a continuous platform for diplomatic engagement and international cooperation, potentially fostering improved relations between the host nation and others. The Olympics are often a source of national pride and also identity. A permanent location could strengthen the association between the host country and the Olympic movement, contributing to a sense of continuity and national unity. However, there may be concerns about exclusivity and the potential for the games to become overly nationalistic if hosted in the same location repeatedly. The host country's international image would be closely tied to the success or failure of the permanent Olympic venue. A well-managed and successful games could enhance a nation's reputation, while problems or controversies could have lasting and negative effects. In 2016, 10 refugee athletes were selected to compete in the first ever refugee Olympic team, the ROT, for the Rio de Janeiro Summer Olympics. The IOC created this team to bring the refugee crisis to the international forefront. This is an example where if the IOC created this team with a permanent venue, it would boost the international image. The political leadership of the host country would be closely scrutinized during each Olympic event, and their actions could have broader diplomatic implications. The Olympics often provide an opportunity for nations to come together and set aside political differences. With a permanent location, ongoing diplomatic efforts may be required to navigate any political tensions that arise between participating nations. The games could serve as a platform for conflict resolution and also dialogue, showcasing the actual potential for peaceful international cooperation. The local and national governments of the host city/country would need to maintain a stable and effective governance structure to manage the continuous demands of hosting the Olympics. Political instability or governance challenges could have a direct impact on the success of the games. There may be concerns about socio-economic inequality if the permanent location is in a wealthy and also developed region. Efforts would need to be made to ensure that the actual benefits of hosting the games are distributed equally, and that the event contributes to the well-being of the broader population. The public's perception of the government's handling of the games could have significant political consequences. A permanent location would mean that political leaders are consistently held accountable for the success or failure of the games over an extended period. The organization also said the Olympic Games, as well as the participation of athletes, is beyond politics. Yet the sporting event has regularly been a stage for political action, activism, and also retribution from individual athletes and countries alike. This quote proves that the games will always be revolved around politics and not sports and the athletes. Overall, I do believe having the Olympics in consistent locations improves the political standpoint due to nationalism / identity, the international image, diplomatic relations, and global cooperation and conflict resolution.
From an economical standpoint, permanent locations for both Winter and Summer Olympics would be a completely feasible proposition. In fact, permanent locations would arguably be more feasible than the current economic state of Olympic location decisions. The three factors that support the feasibility of permanent Olympic locations are the benefits of permanent locations versus current locations, existing accessible facilities, and potential quality revenue in large permanent countries. First, the current economic status of the Olympics is not great. In recent history, many countries have decided to withdraw their bids for the Olympic Games in fear of substantial economic losses. For example, Scandinavian countries Norway and Sweden withdrew from the 2022 bid due to costs projected higher than expected, and cities such as Boston, Budapest, Hamburg, and Rome withdrew from the 2024 Olympic bid. This being said, permanent Olympic locations would aid in eliminating these problems, as it would ensure that cities willing to host Olympic Games were receiving the Games on a consistent basis, instead of having to worry about the backing out of potential hosting cities. In correlation with this, it has been reported that countries' economic stabilities have taken detrimental hits after financing and hosting Olympic Games. In 2004, the Olympics was hosted in Athens, Greece. After the Olympics had far concluded, the Greek government was still facing the economic punishments the Games inflicted on its finances. To relate back, permanent locations would help in preventing these financial burdens, as it would eliminate the need to always fully prepare to host. Most of the expenses for the Olympic Games come from the city having to prepare to host from scratch. With permanent hosts, these expenses will become significantly less after the first Games are prepared and hosted. Moving on, previous Olympic Games have left cities with state-of-the-art facilities that they continue to put to use today. For example, the facilities built for the 1988 Calgary Olympics still currently serve as a community staple for the city of Calgary. With this in mind, the Olympics can consider Calgary and cities like it as potential permanent game host homes. This would tremendously help the economic stability of the Games and its hosts, as the building and infrastructure expenses are already paid for. Relating back to course content, permanent Olympic hosts would help to eliminate market sensitivity. Marketing sensitivity occurs when pricing is influenced by myriad factors. In pinpointing and adding predictability to Olympic locations, marketing sensitivity for the cities and Olympic committees involved, as well as the spectators hoping to view the Games, will be significantly decreased. Lastly, having consistent Olympic Games hosting will help to boost its reputation amongst the world of economics. As we learned, reputation is crucial in sports marketing. Therefore, holding consistently successful Olympics through permanent hosting cities will allow for the Olympics and the parties involved in the games to improve their reputation, leading to more revenue possibilities. Overall, when considering the current economic status of Olympics in combination with the economic potential of permanent hosting cities, it is completely feasible for the Olympics to move to permanent hosts from an economic standpoint.
Socially, from a social view of the Olympics, I do believe that this will lead to a positive impact to the publicity and the promotion of the event. The main goal of the marketers of these events is to generate as much interest, increase revenue, and generate sales. And here are my reasons as to why this has a positive impact on society. My first reason on why I believe that they should keep these events in the same place and have the rich countries bid is due to their financial advantage, which could cause more exposure to people in a more aesthetically pleasing way. A prime example of the Olympics succeeding due to a rich country is England, more specifically London 2012. The Olympics average viewership for that year was 31.1 million on NBC, which was up 12% from Beijing in 2008 and 26% from Athens in 2004. Greece as a country has always been known for historically struggling on an economic standpoint, which may satisfy the viewer very much less from a social standpoint due to the poor venues. Having these events in the same venues promotes the consistency within fan motivation as well as viewers. It could possibly promote more fan passion. It could support local businesses and the society and builds a stronger social culture. It all starts with the Olympics creating the buzz in the first place, which generates more people making a more sociable event. Another big reason from a social standpoint is the easier accessibility that someone might have, as it is more attainable for more countries, which creates more inclusivity and more international involvement among these sporting events. Having the Olympics stay in consistent locations for consistent years also creates more mutual support among the society. This is because it encourages more comfort among the environment and becomes more of a social success. Moving forward to global support. If the Olympics were to stay in this specific location for years on end, then society would start to become more accustomed to the Olympics. This ends up promoting sports into a bigger role in the world, while creating more opportunities and markets for people to enter and creating a strong positive background for the country and reputation among sports. My last reason is how the richer countries who get to host the Olympics lead society in a more positive direction and are showcasing their culture in a positive way. This will want to bring in many more people to celebrate and practice their culture in a more appealing way rather than a country that may be struggling economically. In doing this, it includes more people, which brings a dynamic social aspect to promote sports as a whole. To conclude, I do believe having the Olympics in consistent locations improves the social standpoint due to more publicity into richer venues, increasing a higher reputation and culture, increasing fan motivation, improving global support, and creating comfort among society.
As an overall conclusion, we as a group collectively agree that, thanks to the political, economical, and social benefits, permanent Olympic locations are a completely feasible option for the future of Olympic Games.